Hello, friends. This is John Klein Third of episode 150 of Shouting and Playing with Magic, the podcast. So, thank you everyone for listening and making the podcast grow. Really couldn't do it without you, dear listeners. And we're going to do a deep dive into X-Treme X-Men Volume 3, Issue 4. But first, it's Veterans Day, so I want to say thank you to all the soldiers who've given the greatest gift one can give for this nation, and also all the surviving soldiers and current soldiers. And also, fun things. Today is November 11th, of course, because it's Veterans Day. But that also means it's Dave Cockrum's birthday, which also means it's Nightcrawler's birthday. So happy birthday to both Dave Cockrum and Nightcrawler. We love you, Kurt Wagner. And also, 2 days ago was November 9th, and thanks to Lovable Lockheed number 9, by Nathan Stockman, we got it canonized that it was Lockheed's birthday. So, happy birthday to my favorite purple dragon. Take that to all the other Ninja Turtle goons. But yeah, Lockheed turned 42 this year. It's also November 9th is the day Uncanny X-Men 166 came out. So that's fun, which made me look up when Uncanny 129 came out, and that was October 18th. So next year, I'll do a little better celebrating both Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost's birthdays. And with all that out of the way, and personally, hey, we just moved into our new house that we're renting, and I've mostly been building furniture, but I'm still chipping away at the room I record in. But I think it's coming along pretty nicely. I mean, it's a slow process, but we're all moved in, so that's always nice. So just take it piece by piece. Only thing I really have out right now is my Wizard Top 100 trades from 1997. Which embarrassingly, I gave my Spider-Man versus Venom to my nephew, so I got that reordered. Um, I literally remember packing boxes, being like, "Why do I have Spider-Man versus Venom?" And I was like, "Oh, that's why." Um, and then I got my X-Men Pop Funkos out, so not as funly decorated as I would like them to be. And then I got all my X-Men trades, but yeah, I need to figure out how I want to record things. But that's a fun problem to have. So let's get into X-Treme X-Men Volume 3, Issue 4, which came out. Um, they don't have the handy dandy little legalese at the bottom. The one thing I didn't look for. Anyway, so this is Search and Destroy by Chris Claremont and Salvador LaRocca. And thanks to Marvel Fandom, it came out in May of 2023, and I apparently got the classic homage variant, as it has Kitty Pryde crushing the logo. Always fun. And then color artist Guru EFX. Letter and production VC's Clayton Cowles. Assistant editor Drew Baumgartner. Editor Mark Bassel. Senior editor Jordan D. White, and editor-in-chief C.B. Cebowski, and of course X-Men created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And the variant covers by Dan Panosian after John Byrne, Terry Austin, and Jim Novak for the homage cover, so that's fun. And because this comic came out recently, we get a little recap, which is thankful. The X-Treme X-Men have come to Chicago to help their teammate Kitty Pryde, who have just discovered that an adversary she thought long dead, the legendary ninja assassin Ogun, still lives. With his psychic form seeking a new physical host, he can possess anyone to continue his battle against his enemies. Unfortunately, Ogun isn't the only threat they face. A band of non-mutant super beings known as the Gallier, allied with the anti-mutant collective known as Purity to obliterate mutant kind. Among their number, Alice her mane and the mini sentinels she resurrected scrap, the X-Team has split up to try to protect the innocent citizens, including a pair of sisters. Rogue and Gambit have taken under their wing and disarmed the threats. To fulfill his plan of revenge, Ogun seized control of Gower's strongman, Beastie Brute, using his powers to defeat Rachel Summers, the young Phoenix. Rachel's power was absorbed by Scrap, who neutralized the enhanced abilities of every mutant in the city. This included Kitty Pryde, who at the moment was phased through a boulder as her friends watch her succumb to this horrific fate. And I should mention this is X-Treme Volume 3, so this is part of that initiative they had at Chris Claremont where they said, hey, let's pretend you never left these titles, and what would you do to continue your story? Which I always think it's like, well, clearly this is not what he would have done. Editorial would have been like, no, dog. But this is what we were given. And so the leader is Ro, Storm, their leader, Bishop, Remy the Blow, Gambit, Rogue, Sage, Catherine, Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, Rachel Summers, Kitty's best friend, Lockheed, her very best dragon friend, Logan, Wolverine, Ogun, the villain, their adversary. And so, yes, Washington Park, the issue opens up with a gorgeous splash page of Storm just screaming no in the John Romita Jr. reign. Or just Rain, but I don't know. I see comic book Rain, and I'm immediately always thinking about John Romita Jr. And we see Lockheed is crying over Kitty's arm that's no longer phasing through the um a boulder. Because Kitty Pryde, the person she cares for most in all the world, has just been slain. As of course, when power, just like in House of M, when Wanda said no more mutants, some people like Magma and that one dude were flying about and then lost, one of them lost their powers and then fell from the sky. Pretty much Kitty was facing through a boulder and got stuck. And we see a very detailed Salvador La Roca Lockheed just like roaring in sadness and grief. And I'm going to put 3 images on the podcast's Instagram and Twitter feed at SNFWM. And you can also see a visual element or video element on my TikTok and YouTube at Jacko SII. And Remy's trying to console Storm, who apparently like shaved a part of her hair and shaved the remaining hair into a lightning bolt. That's a choice. And Remy's saying that they can grieve later. And Storm's like, I got nothing for grief, Remy. I want revenge. And then there's a lot of fighting of those goons. Sansu and Soul Scream. And then Ogun's taking over Beastie Brute, who, thanks to comics, we see Ogun's legendary demon mask as the face as he just keeps tossing Logan's limp body around. And he's, a bag full of adamantium. So he's like trying to womp Storm and Gambit with Logan, where it's like, that's funny. Gambit uses his staff to make Ogun trip with a wrench and a thump. And then Rogue gets involved and this is Rogue of her big sleeve tattoo she had on her left arm, which I've asked the internet many a time about, like, how did she get rid of that tattoo? But no one seems to remember. Like, did she just come back House of M without the tattoo? Because I don't remember her dying or being resurrected. Anyway, so they, Ogun and Rogue keep fighting. She is being quicker than his brute force, but eventually he punches her straight in the gut. And Beastie Brute is like, I don't know, twice her size. And then finally, which is the moment, and then, so Rogue falls into a rock. And just then, which is the moment Lockheed gets involved. What happens next occurs in a matter of seconds. As Lockheed roars fire breath down on Beastie Brute. Yeah, meanwhile, Gambit saves Rogue. Nearby at Bells of Hell, and Bishop and Sage are gathering stand not standbyers. Yeah, right. Both human and mutant alike as they're trying to get people into the building. Just down the street, a mass protest representing the anti-mutant zealous purity. And it's like, there's an explosion, there's fire, mutants killing real humans. And that part's irritating. Hey, come on. I mean, that's how you do dehumanitize someone, right? Or a group of people by not referring to them as mutants or humans. 8 miles north of the university stands one of the tallest buildings in the United States. In a hidden area atop the tower is one of Purity's leaders' grand student, Alice Tremaine, and the artificial intelligence Sentinel she calls Scrap. Because scraps are what she used to make her repairs. And so they're sensing that all the mutant powers have been turned off. There's a double page spread ad or house ad for Carnage Reigns, which I don't remember anyone ever talking about. But Into the Spider-Verse got advertised earlier, and I'm like, which one of those Spider-Verse crossovers was that? Oh, I'm sorry, Edge of the Spider-Verse, because that way you can distinguish which ones are which. Meanwhile, close by, oh yeah, Washington Park, and so we see those two, we see Rogue and Logan chatting as he's slowly coming together. He doesn't have his healing factor, but of course that still means he has his adamantium bones, so he, unsleeves those, and it hurts every time. The sisters Rogue and Gambit befriended are trying to be encouraging. Meanwhile, close by, Gambit and Storm are still discussing what they should be doing. Meanwhile, all these lightning bolts are coming down, and it's taking Storm a moment to realize, oh, that's me. I'm controlling it. I think my powers are coming back. And then we get Logan versus Ogun fighting again. Moon Knight 23 has Venom showing up. And so now Logan and Storm, and Gambit and Rogue, Extreme X-Men versus Ogun. And now they're starting to win because, like, Fall of X, you can beat the X-Men, but as soon as they can regroup, like, your time is done. Like, all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. And they're defeating those two other people. And then the issue ends the only way I would have wanted it to, with, and one last time, back to where this issue began. And we see a hand that was just limp. Now the fingers are moving. I am not dead. As Kitty Pryde pulls herself out of the boulder. Not yet. Not by a long shot. I hope. I pray. Phase inside the boulder. I could hear what was happening. But then also she was unconscious enough but wasn't moving her hand? I don't know. Mutants losing their powers, reverting to their natural form. Woulda, shoulda, killed, died when that happened, except my natural form to be intangible, a living ghost. And of course, she's just saying this aloud to us. Who holds herself together, keeps herself alive solely by force of will, which means right now I'm running totally on borrowed time. So, Dragon, you and I better find a way to set things right before I fade away so much I become a ghost for real. And we're at it. Make whoever's responsible pay. Next, hold the line. And I believe. Oh, there's the Indicia Extreme X-Men number 4, May 2023. There we go. Oh, hey, there's a inside back cover ad for Before the Fall X-Men. Cy Spurrier and Phil Noto's Sons of X, which I want to say was not very long. And then the back cover ad is for Wakanda Forever, the soundtrack, which is fun. And that, everyone, was Extreme X-Men Volume 3, Issue 4. So let's take a moment to see what comics came out last week. So X-Men 7 came out that had barely any magic content in it, so that's why we have a back issue. Um, and actually, Magic's only mentioned twice in the whole issue. I'm like, we didn't even see her? Like, come on. So the issue opens up with Magneto and Cyclops before issue 1. So they're just in Scott's hometown of Morrow, Alaska, where I guess one of his grandparents own a cabin. And then in the present day, Beast and Oya are talking to Paige Cobb, is it? And Beast is going to do an experiment to see if she is a mutant, so he needs a strand of hair. In the past, Magneto's disappointed in Scott. Scott just wants to drink beer. And it's not as bad as they think it is, but it's pretty bad. Oya's getting Piper something to eat, and Psylocke comes in the room and says, "Correct, but you didn't bring this to the X-Men, did you? You convinced Magic to go along your scheme and just did it." And then we see the origins of Iron Knight, where one of the Sentinels, just the Wild Sentinel, came to life and started attacking the town. And then Cyclops and Magneto had to take it down, or freeze it in place, actually. I do like how some townsfolk say, "Who are you?" And Cyclops like, "We're the X-Men," but it's just him and Magneto. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like X-Men, you need at least 3 people, right? Because usually in like, one of those name your ideal team, and you go 7 characters, which I don't know why 7. Well, I think it's the 7 Greek gods make the pantheon, so that's the reason why. Or because Grant Morrison had 7 in his JLA, and that's just, oh no, but then he did that, or they did that. Apologies, because of the Greek pantheon. But anyways, I think 3. I mean, you need at least 3 to be considered an X-Men squad. But even then, I feel like that's a trio, because when Logan, Kurt, and Colossus hang out, are they the X-Men, or are they just 3 bros that's broing out? I don't know. Anyways, I feel like if it's just 2 people, you should just have a fun dual name, like Clinito or Maglops. Yeah, I guess neither really works. And then the Iron Knight ends with Magneto shutting down the Sentinel, but he can't control his powers anymore. And we learn it's because he's suffering of RLDS, R-LDS, resurrection linked degenerative sickness, which is the big reveal of the issue. So all X or mutants who got resurrected might potentially suffer with RLDS, which I'm just never going to memorize those letters. Um, And you just think about all the people like Kate Pride died one time and got resurrected, but we're shown in those early issues that Orcus figures out the mutants must be resurrecting themselves somehow because they keep sending hundreds of mutants after them and all dying, and they don't seem to be learning from themselves their mistakes at all. And that was like, and it was implied they did that hundreds of times with a total of 1,000 mutants dead probably. So any of these mutants can suffer with this, where they lose their powers, and they imply like someone like Kid Omega, who died many, many times. Like, what if he loses control of his psychic powers? Then Beast comes back with Piper's results, saying that she is Homo sapien sapien, 100%. So whatever she's feeling is not a new mutation. She's just, a growing girl. And then we get the final reference to Ileana. As Piper's not sure what to do now, and Oya says, and I really should be calling her Heidi, because that's her, you know, civilian name. Ileana and I will take you home, and you will wake your mother up. Things can go back to normal. And then Piper's like, nothing's going to be normal. But Heidi promises that they will be friends forever, and so whenever she goes to one of those protests, she can look up and see Heidi, and then know that she has a friend up there. But then the issue ends with Piper trying to go to sleep, and she has a claw hand that then goes back to normal. So it's like, oh, or regular flip. And that's the issue. And so clearly Beast is science is wrong, which I think is gonna. I have a thought that Beast's subplot is that he's going to realize he's so far behind in science that he's going to want to take some drastic shortcuts, and so he's going to pretty much become present day Beast, like sooner than later, where he's just like, I need all this data in my head, and then it's like, oh, like turns out mutants or humans are bad, and I need to start experimenting on, like we're just he's going to downslide pretty quickly. And yeah, that was X-Men Volume 7, Issue 7. So what else came out? Oh yeah, X-Force 5. Turns out we got alternate dimension X-Men, but they are calling themselves the Avengers, which I think is correct, as there's Storm and there's a Captain America variant. And that Storm has a kid with Forge and is very mad at Forge. So it's like, well, of course, that's how those two's dynamics work. Rachel reads in their mind that they have a healthy respect and fear for the Phoenix, so she puts on a little Phoenix show where it's like, oh. And of course, Rachel Summers, the greatest Phoenix host. I will not give in to any ground there, as what she was the Phoenix for 5 years and never once went dark and had the best partnership with the Phoenix and had full control over it, or at least a partnership, a working nature with it. They're trying to fight all these goons, and then we see the X-Men, or yeah, the X-Men fight them. So we get Magic for a panel, so that's pretty fun. Then X Factor 4 came out, which wasn't too bad. Cecilia Reyes, Dr. Cecilia Reyes, excuse me, uh, had a ex-boyfriend who turns out can teleport and is now on this team for a mission. And this whole issue could have easily just been Dr. Reyes and that guy chatting. But instead, they're going to the core, Earth's core, like that movie, The Core, and they're trying to escape um, before they all melt away. So yeah, pretty solid issue. The click clock references are still there, and I'm like, man, I wish they would just stop, right? Just refer to it as they're working for a social media um, platform, and it's just going good, or just refer to your bosses. And then what else came out? Um, oh yeah, the Avengers 20 was just a purely Black Panther story. So, so no Storm references at all. So let's see what's coming out on Wednesday. Thanks to Marvel.com /comics /calendar. Conquest 2099 issue 3. That might have a 2099 Phoenix and Cyclops. Oh, NYX 5 with Sophie fighting off her sisters, Mindy and the other ones. Ooh, Psylocke 1 comes out. That's exciting. Let's see here. Cyclops is on the cover as well as some hand ninjas. Hey, Ultimate X-Men 9, which feels like 8 just came out, right? Yeah, like 8 just came out, and like we have not got an exceptional X-Men 3, so what's happening there? Uncanny X-Men 5 with Gambit and a cat. Oh no, two cats. Three cats. Three cats. Wolverine, Venom War Wolverine 3, which now I'm realizing we did not see Venom in the theater, so, but we've been busy to move. But it's like, shoot, I was already looking forward to it. But also, I don't remember anyone talking about Venom 3. Like, I avoided all spoilers, or no one's talking about it. And, oh, that's it. So, yeah. I keep wanting to order Exceptional X-Men 3 through eBay, but no one wants to tell me when it's releasing. My plan um, is to, because I don't think we're going to Great Falls or Bozeman anytime soon, is when a comic I want coming out, like Magic in January, Exceptional X-Men, when I see it's coming out that current week, I'll just order it on eBay and call it good. So that, everyone, was big episode 150 of Shadow and Flame of Magic. Thank you so much for listening. If you would please ask someone else to listen and subscribe, that would be amazing. And thank you again, everyone, for listening. And oh, wait, so what are we looking forward to? Uncanny X-Men 5, Ultimate X-Men 9, Psylocke 1, and NYX 5? Like, there's no duds here. Like, it's all winners. Well, except for Venom War Wolverine 3, but that's gonna happen. So, but I don't think we're gonna have a spotlight or a current issue to spotlight. So I'll see what's my next back issue and see where we go from there. But thanks again for listening, and I will talk at you next time. Bye.